So I'm a fan of the Silent Hill series. I barely talk about it, and not in my community posts or any of my videos. I don't really get the chance to or feel the need to. But I've been a fan of the series, and I started playing the games a while back, like the 2 with the whole Enhanced Edition thing. So I've been looking at the remake of 2 being done by Bloober Team, and I don't know, I wanted to share my thoughts about it so far because, I don't know, I'm very cautiously optimistic for it. I really want it to be good, but I'm really scared that Konami may mess it up. So, um, let's get started. First off, the game looks very, very, very good. I mean, not really much else to say about that. It looks nice. Second off, the voice acting, I mean, it's kind of what I expect from a remake of a very old game. The old game had not good voice acting, but it worked in the game's favor of just, giving it this creepy off vibe and kind of these creepy off people. But now we just kind of have normal, modern AAA voice acting. It's probably going to be fine. Not going to have as much effect as the original, but it's the best we can do. The game's now like third person instead of having a semi-fixed camera. Sometimes it's fixed. Sometimes the original would have this whole, camera that would follow you in all your turns. So it wasn't really fixed camera. But the game's now a over-the-shoulder, third-person Resident Evil 2 remake kind of game, which this game is very, very, very heavily inspired by the Resident Evil 2 remake. That's pretty obvious. They changed the location of the first enemy from like a weird alleyway to just an old house. Not really much to say about that. I do gotta say, the enemies themselves look way too smooth. Like, they're supposed to be like these weird bloody corpses, but then you have these like really, really shiny, smooth skin, and it just kind of ruins the effect. The first enemy, yeah, it doesn't look too great. The nurses at least have their twitching, though they still also look too smooth. And the combat, James looks a little too capable. Like, the whole point of Silent Hill combat was that you didn't want to do it, which added to the horror of the game, trying to run away from the enemies instead of having to fight them. Because the combat was clunky, purposely so. But now the combat here looks, relatively well and, like something I'd use in a fighting game. Maybe they'll have a durability system where it like breaks very, very easily, so you don't want to use it that much except for like big bosses and stuff. I like how they have James like write in his map when he finds a new location. That's just a good attention to detail that I like in a lot of modern games. Maria's design kind of loses its whole a little bit of the point of like her being a representation of James like pent-up lust. It doesn't completely lose it, and also her jacket's kind of sick, not gonna lie, but the original design did it a bit better, but it's not like it completely ruins everything. They reused the old radio sound effect, which I think is kind of cool, Not a lot of remakes do that. Well, some do, but most of them like modernize it. But I kind of like the old radio sound effect. Something funny to mention is that at one point the person playing it tries to shoot a monster and they have completely awful aim, missing it twice. That's not a criticism of the game or anything. That's just something funny to point out. In the game, in the cutscenes they show off, we get to see Laura, the kid, and her characterization is pretty on point with her seeming, like bratty kid like how she was in the original. But we also see James and Maria, and they seem way less aloof and kind of meandering, which they were supposed to be in the original, because James was just kind of a weird guy, and also, he killed his wife. But and Maria was supposed to be very, very mysterious. But they kind of lose that when you make them a bit more focused on what's going on. I don't know, doesn't really have the same impact as the original. There was a huge controversy about, well, not huge, but huge from Silent Hill. A huge controversy about Angela's face model because, I mean, it's a bad model. It doesn't really look that good in some. It looks good in some parts, but then like in the light, it looks a bit too overexposed. I think they could just touch it up a bit. I don't really think it's, I don't know, problem with woke or blah 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 or something. Some stuff that people are saying. I swear to God, don't look up Silent Hill 2 remake on YouTube. Some of the videos there some of the titles are just completely fucking brain rot. But otherwise, I'm very cautiously optimistic for this, as I said at the beginning, because Konami does not have a great track record. I hope they can have a good comeback because this last few games they made were like Metal Gear Survive. That game looks so boring. But I really hope they can have a good comeback with this and the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I am very excited for that because Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite game of all time. So I really hope they can do it justice. For the little small percent of returning viewers that are watching this and wondering why I'm doing this and not like a review, I'm working on a review. It's a Mario game, not the one you see on screen. It's going to be one of the RPGs. I'm doing these to just get something to kind of get uploaded like every week, or I guess I have another one planned, so I guess twice a week. That's going to be fun. My dad gave me the idea for this, and honestly, thinking over, it's a pretty good idea. Just something to make in between reviews. I do these unscripted because it's just kind of easier. So yeah, that's it. Video's over. Go watch something else.